another few hours to go, if I can call it that, to wrap up this particular show for the week. But of course, I did promise you an interesting conversation after that particular, break. Yes, bills have to be paid. We're getting into a conversation with regards to music now. It is easy for many Ugandans not to know Yvonne. She once hit the society pages in 2004. Then she had represented Uganda at the Mnet Project Fame as Yvonne Better, but she did not last on the show, unfortunately, but that was still a big deal. After realizing a single that made rounds on Sanyu FM's then East African Countdown, Yvonne later left the country and would occasionally return to record with most rappers such as Young Nick, Papito, MSB and Play. Rebranding to Yvonne, she switched from pop to Afro-pop fusion and released songs such as Road to Ginger, Who, Bye Bye Baby, This Is Me, and probably her biggest, Love Every Day. So of course we do have her right here on the show, of course going by the stage name Yvonne, and it's going to be an interesting conversation, so you can jump on board on #morning@10TV. Feel free to also tag me directly at Malaki Bilodera. Romeo Bisiku is taking us just a slight break, but it's still part of this conversation. But on this one, I'm being joined by an arts journalist, Mr. Andrew Kagwa from the Daily Monitor. Hey, welcome.
Welcome.
I'm glad to be doing this with you. Yvonne, welcome. You're also joined by your pianist, Mr. Ronnie Bukenya. Thank you so much for making time. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can I also say welcome back to the Pearl of Africa?
Thank you very much for having me. The Pearl never left.
Yeah, the Pearl never left.
Yes.
All right, Andrew.
Jez, what should I say anyway? I've listened to her music. The very first time I didn't know it was her music. You know that music you find online and then you're enjoying it and it's good enough and you do not know who did the music. And then just early this year, I happened to be at a wine tasting event. I don't even know if she still remembers that. And then she was performing and then she goes on to do Love Every Day and I was like, yes!
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when I put the name and the face to the songs I had been listening to.
Right.
But she's quite an amazing artist, and then I got to listen to her new album, which is totally reggae.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yvonne, we got to know you in terms of the public light in 2004 when you were a contestant at the, Mnet Project Fame, which was a big deal for you because I think that is when you realized, finally, I have an opportunity to show the world what I've really yearned for and what my passion really is about. What did that mean for you?
It really meant a lot. I mean, to be picked out of thousands, to just be like come and let's take you, really meant a lot. I think the exposure is really important for me to discover what I wanted to be like, what I wanted to sound like, and just the opportunity to be on a big platform, on the continent. It was really a big deal for me. Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, you were evicted. You're the first evictee.
First person to be evicted. Oh my God.
Then what happened after that? After the eviction, we thought that we'd see Yvonne in a new whole bang. What exactly happened? Why did you go on the low?
Basically, it was to reestablish myself, to realign myself. It was to find, who I wanted to be, because I realized who I wasn't. I needed to go back inward and rediscover myself. I went back to school, graduated, and lived life.
Okay.
That's where the music comes from. It comes from life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were a student at that time, by the time you went for the competition?
Yes. And then
Mass comm student.
Yes.
And then that means you were kind of trying to be a journalist at that time. And but just so but what happened?
Well, basically at that time it was like a process of rediscovery, I think, because also I'm someone who likes to do a lot of things. I then graduated from international relations and diplomacy. Journalism and writing was not for me. And I rediscovered other aspects of myself. From journalism, I became a banker for 4 years. I was head of service quality for UBA when I quit in 2012. So diverse. It's been a lot of things.
Yeah. All right, so let's have a taste of that diversity. You have to perform for us so we can set the foundation for this conversation before we get deeper into who Yvonne really is and what your plans are now that you're back to the Pearl of Africa.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ronnie Bukenya on the piano. Okay, so can you do an a cappella?
Okay, this is Kampala off the reggae album New Me Now, which is out now. Let's take a stroll down the main road. Let's buy from her a couple of mangoes. Her life is hard, but she smiles with ease. She is selling them to pay for her own school fees. Oh, the city square, so many people there in this city heat, so many rushing feet. Kampala, that's where we'll meet, down by the park of the old taxis. Kampala, at 2:45. Come along, let me take you with me. Kampala, that's where we'll meet, down by the park of the old taxis. Kampala, at 2:45. Come along, let me take you with me. With me. Yes, there's a stark divide between the lives of rich and poor. The city lights in certain parts will mesmerize you. The malls, of course, and the golf course, the endless lines of cars and noise rush our traffic and paralyze too. Grab something to eat at Centenary and enjoy the sweet shade of many trees. Kampala, that's where we'll meet, down by the park of the old taxis. Kampala, at 2:45. Come along, let me take you with me. Kampala, that's where we'll meet, down by the park of the old taxis. Kampala, at 2:45. Come along, let me take you with me.
All right. So I guess you'll be playing for us.
This is New Me Now. Sweet body all day. Sweet body, sweet body, that was all me. Yeah, I don't even know leave from tired tears. That was the all me. Yeah, I don't even know leave. This is a moment now. 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 Suddenly I've come to see how the enemy lies inside me. Suddenly I'm fighting me. Now it's time for me to decide. So radically I'm changing me out one day at a time. Time to be free. I'm my worst enemy. That was the old me. Yeah, I didn't even know leave from tired tears. That was the old me. Yeah, I didn't even know leave. This is a moment now. 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 Playing me the only remedy. He was a reno of my mind. Necessity, you would take me the moment I open up my eyes. So maybe I came to be a different way of life. Living simply,
people behind the scenes just, clapping for you. That sound is quite sweet. I sense some bits of reggae here and there with jazz. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Is it a fusion?
Yes, it's definitely a fusion. Because I'm a jazz blues singer originally. That's what I really grew up with. I grew up on MGM musicals, and I love Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, and all that old stuff. But my love of music is really diverse from rock to blues and everything, So I fused with this album. It's just my influence of jazz, and I bring it to the reggae because that's where I'm at.
Okay.
And for me, reggae is really spiritual, and that's where I'm at. I'm just about my spiritual well-being, mental, physical right now.
Well, I like the record, not just this song. Like you remember when we were listening to it, we were spot for choice. Like this, there was New Me Now, and then there was Steps. Like everyone went for Steps. Personally, I think allergic to Bad News. And like it's one of my best songs on the album. Why reggae now? Because you've done a lot of soul and jazz for quite a very long time. Like, why is it so right now?
I think it's really representative of where I'm at. Reggae is about revolution, about change, and right now I'm about changing myself. That's what the record is about New Me Now. It's about changing myself and bettering myself. And reggae is also very spiritual, and it kind of feels quite rooted for me right now because there's a lot to do with my identity as an African, as a black person, and it was very easy for me to go into the jazz, blues, and all these other aspects. But for me, reggae kind of really brings it home in a way that other music genres don't.
So look at this diplomat doing music. I know. She went to do international relations and diplomacy, and here you are in music. But we want to understand that stage between 2004 Project Fame, went back to school. You said it was a phase of discovering yourself, getting to understand who you really are. Diplomacy. You are a diplomat. I believe at some point you will practice it. Hallelujah.
No.
And look at this one. Music. All right. Okay. And then 2008 to 2012.
I was a banker.
You become a banker.
Yes.
Explain that.
But you see, the other thing, what many people don't know is Project Fame in 2004 was actually the very first time Africans were experiencing Project Fame.
Yes. So I'm the great-grandmother of reality.
Yeah, like they were the very, very first, and then people were confused, like, is it Big Brother? Is it Project Fame?
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't know it's Project Fame. Sorry, is it Big Brother? Is it Idols?
Yeah.
So like, there is you being there for that long, but I understand in between that time you go to see other Project Fames. You have a take.
Did I have a take? I did. To be fair, I wasn't plugged in as I should have been for the following Project Fames. I do remember Esther Nabassa is possibly one of my favorites, I think. Yes, she was on Tasker, Project Fame, I think. Yeah, Esther Nabassa is one of my favorites. But because I've kind of been in motion quite a bit these years, in and out, I really haven't been that plugged in, really. So I don't have a take on Project Fame, per se.
Oh, interesting.
So you were just banking then?
I was just banking. I focused on banking. I went from teller to head service quality at UBA. I quit in 2012. And from there, the opportunities to go to Sweden kind of fell in my lap. Someone heard me and thought, why don't you come?
Okay.
Swedish musicians would like.
I think that also points out to something that is quite critical, how profitable the music space really is. Here you are in the limelight globally, 2004, went under for quite some time, did banking for literally, is it 4 years?
Yeah.
And here you are, you had that previous experience of being in the limelight with music. So what did that mean for you? Because we're having this conversation prior and you're saying that, hey, a girl ought to survive. So what does that point out to the music industry in the country in terms of people saying that, hey, this can be my 8 to 5 and I'm confident that I'll be able to fend for myself and my family?
For me, I can only speak for myself. It was a personal choice to get into banking. It was a personal choice for me to kind of focus and get a regular job. And also, like I said previously, to rediscover myself, to really figure out what life is, because music always remains with you, but life is also always happening.
Yeah.
And to get inspiration from other things, and also sustainability, it gave me opportunities that the music industry wouldn't give me at that time, you know, and that's hence me going to Sweden. But yeah, I quite enjoyed the banking experience. It just wasn't my happiness. That's not where my heart lay, you know. For me, it's all about life is short. I've got to live fully, and I've got to live now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew.
No, it's quite very interesting.
Yeah.
Quite very interesting. And when she just spoke for herself, but personally, I have my experience with many artists, and trying to sustain life in this industry. One, you need to notice that Uganda is not one of those places where people are willing to pay a lot for art. And that's not just the consumers, even people that are hiring artists are not willing to pay much. So you find very many people following that passion after some time. I don't know if that's what you did, but I know you've had very many people that would be like, yeah, I first had to do a lot of things, and then when I was really set, I had to do music. I just want to understand what's the plan now, like.
Right now, with
you're
me
here.
now, first of all, I have to give, and this is not even planned, I have to give a big shout out to Feza, because when I left the industry for the period I did for 5 years, I was completely out of the loop, and then coming back and finding an application that can enable me to be booked. For the time period from 2017 to 2018, end of last year, I was just basically getting booked through Feza. That was what was happening for me. And now that with Feza management and with this particular album, I think there's a wider platform for me to perform this particular album, Reggae, on the East African front, on the African front, and take it as far as wide as we can. That's really the goal right now.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So Renitas, once again, before we get back to our conversations, and this time around I think I'll also look this guy in.
I know. This is just around being cool.
You know?
With this gadget, I keep believing I should play one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we end the show, we need to put you on the spot. You're going to play.
Okay.
Solo.
All right, take it away.
Steps. This is called Steps, and it's off the album. Second single off the album, Afternoon Me Now. Just do one or two steps. Can you feel the music yet? Is your joy inside and trouble outside? Yet you forget. You're now in the flow. Love starting to bubble. Keep it simple. 1, 2 steps. Just do 1 or 2 steps. Is your spirit in yet? Is your joy inside and trouble outside? Yeah, you forget. You're now in the flow. Love starting to bubble. Keep it simple. 1 or 2 steps. You just need the right attitude. Get your own simple goal. And let your music move inside. All you need to find
Interesting.
I actually don't know why I find myself just doing that.
Yeah.
Like most of the times.
Right. I think it's easier than clapping hands. That was quite amazing. Andrew, you've been privileged to interact with this lady. This is actually her second year in the country. When you look at her, you have interacted with quite a number of musicians. What is it for you that is, let me put her on the spot this time around, what is it that has stood out in terms of her being different? I mean, it's all out. Her style of music is quite unique. But in terms of her in the 2 years and you interacting with her, we've interacted before and you've told me this is quite a special artist. Why is that in your view?
One, she keeps reinventing herself very many times, just like this album is totally reggae. I've listened to the other soul albums, soul influence albums. One wasn't really an album. I think there were just a couple of songs that had very many rappers on. I don't know if it was it really an album?
No, it was just a compilation of all the features I've had in the hip-hop fraternity. A lot of the features I did, a lot of hip-hop hooks and all of that. That's where my home was, hip-hop fraternity began.
Yeah, so I noticed that on many of those, there was a lot of fusion with home instruments. Geez, I can't remember the song, the title of the song.
It has traditional instrumentation actually from Busoga.
Yeah. And then it came to another album whose
Lullabies for Life.
Yes.
The final, my jazz album.
That was almost completely jazz. And then you have this, like I really like that reinvention literally every time you come out.
Right.
Because I won't be dropping names, but we know you're going to notice that have sounded the same for 20 years.
Yeah.
And they are very comfortable sounding like that in 2019. And then you have this artist who keeps trying to reinvent their sound, their instrumentation, and then the choice of people she has worked with. I mean, with her experience, you would be thinking she would be coming back to be like, I want to work with those people. I don't know how good they are. I mean, you've heard artists say that. I don't really know how Ugandan producers are. Shouldn't get into that. But then, you had Yvonne, and she's working with Ronnie. Like Ronnie, I met Ronnie when I was starting out as a journalist in 2014.
Oh, so he's a veteran in the space. Interesting,
So like the open-mindedness, so I really like that.
Congratulations having such a person who has been in the space, saying that you are special in that way, that you're not comfortable, you're able to reinvent time and again when the need arises. Ronnie, hey, you've been here for quite a long time in the space. I mean, if we met you when he was starting out, still, it means that he was a group before then. Ronnie, what is it for you? You have been loyal to this art. Does it pay?
Well,
Those are very hard questions.
does it pay? It does pay a bit. I won't say it really pays. It's mostly the passion.
The passion.
It's really the passion that keeps me going.
Right. So do you find yourself in spaces where you have to do other things to make ends meet? And if you're doing other things, what is that?
I have really looked at music as something that I can only do.
Right.
Honestly, to be honest. So I do music full time.
Right.
Full time.
Hey. The passion is real. Right. You know, Andrew, this lady came through, but she was in Sweden since 2013, right? You have been privileged to experience the two spaces, music in Africa, the industry in Africa, and in Sweden as well. Is there any competitive advantage? And I mean, from 2013 to
2017, that's when you came back. That's about another 4 years in there. You being there for 4 years, still doing music, meant that there was something that you were getting there that you're not getting back here at home. So what is it that they're doing right that we ought to learn from them in terms of growing our artists?
And then on the same thing you're talking about Sweden, Sweden has a very weird or strange relationship with Ugandan art.
Yeah.
You should look at Sami Kasule, File Lutaya, Maddox Sematimba, like just the list is endless, even Sabina Dumba. I don't know if you met Sabina.
I didn't meet her, but I had heard of her when I was in Sweden, and actually when she came here I was invited for that event, but I couldn't make it. Sabina Dumba is amazing.
Yes, so just on top of what she says, if there is an advantage, why Sweden for most Ugandans?
I'll say that personally it was a fortunate accident for me. I had no idea about Sweden until I got there, and I remember initially my experience and interaction with the musicians there's a certain professionalism and support that you get from the government of Sweden, and they have such a passion and a pride for their music. I think from the time that ABBA broke out in the 70s, and because actually the album Lullabies for a Lion was produced by the producer who worked with ABBA, Polar Studios. So it's one of those things where the experience I had was basically there's a professionalism and an appreciation for the arts in terms of payment and subsidizing, and a lot of them take such a certain pride. Like, you won't realize how much the music industry of the world has been influenced by Sweden. A lot of Swedish songwriters are the top in Hollywood.
Right.
Songwriters for Britney Spears. Actually, pretty much everyone. If you look around, the producers, big producers right now, the guy did the soundtrack for, I think, Black Panther, it's Swedish. Their influence is far and wide, and I think it comes from a deep-seated passion for the music arts and funding from the government and support.
Interesting. I hope we can get to that point. Andrew, are you confident that we'll get to that point? You've been in the space monitoring what's happening quite deeply. Are you hopeful?
It's a very hard thing when we're managed by the old guys in suits. I will not say anything more after that.
The old guys in suits. Would it have been better if it was the young guys in suits?
You see, young guys at the moment know that they know the value of art. Young people know that in case if it's a film, you have all these credits of 30 people who are all employed by that one film.
Right.
If it's a band that's performing, you have the entire backline. But even besides that, when the show is going on, there are people selling drinks, and like young people can get that. They get a gist of that. For an old guy in a suit, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, one of the presidential contestants the last election, everything they wrote about art and culture was entertainment. They had that section where they were like entertainment, and then they started Ugandans can now go out and okay.
Wow, I get
That's
what
why
you're
I didn't want to say anything after that.
All right, I understand that you're running short of time, but and you have to serenade us once again before you go. Yes, but in a nutshell, 1 second, what are your plans? What should your fans now know now that you're back to the country? What do you have in store for them?
Basically, you can go to EVON'Thesinger.com. You'll find the links to my title, Spotify, and Deezer for the new album, New Me Now. And also, we're going to have a grand finale for Fifeza.
All right.
Up at Design Hub on the 16th of November with Waiki Bender, Voice So Tender.
Okay. All right. Okay. Take it away. Thank you so much for making time.
Then just besides that, is this the last reggae album you're doing? Go?
No, there's lots more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Salute to you. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for supporting this amazing beauty. We wish you nothing but the best. Thank you, Andrew. Salute. Take it away, Yvonne.
Let's take a stroll down the main road. Let's buy She is selling them to pay for her own school fees. Oh, the city square, so many people there in the city, so many Kampala, that's where we'll meet, down by the park where the old taxis. Kampala at 2:45. Come along, let me take you with me. Kampala, that's where we'll meet, down by the park where the old taxis. Kampala at 2:45. Come along, let me take you with me. Ba-da-da-da-day, ba-da-da-da-da-day, ba-da-da-da-day. Yes, there's a dark divide between the light, the rich and poor, the city lights in certain parts will mesmerize you. The malls, of course, and the golf course, the endless lines of causing noise, rush hour traffic and paralyze you. Grab something to eat, have centenary, and enjoy the sweet shade of many trees. Kampala, that's where we'll meet, down by the park where the old taxis. Kampala at 2:45. Come along, let me take you with me. Kampala, that's where we'll meet, down by the park where the old taxis. Kampala at 2:45.